Hey guys, Redalen here with Team DGA. Just giving you guys a little bit of insight to what I'm throwing so far this season. Kind of like a little building the bag session right here. So yeah, just tell you guys some molds I'm working on, what I'm really liking, and what I'm most likely going to be throwing for this year. So we'll start off with the bag. I'll be using the pound bag, the Rufus. I really like the Rufus, a little bit smaller, really comfortable on the back, a little lighter for those long tour courses. So using this great bag this year. We'll start off with the putters and approach putters. So this year we'll be putting with the Stone Steady BLs. I'm really liking these for the stiff plastic, a little bit deeper than the Luna that I was putting with last year. It fights the wind a little bit better, but still comes out of my hand super clean. Again, really liking this slick, stiff plastic. Next, the two straighter approach putters. I'm going to be using the Titanic and the Steady BL. I'm really liking the Steady BL for, this is an Ice Steady BL. Throwing this for really straight to stuff I don't really want to turn over that much, but just bullet straight, maybe a tiny bit of finish. That's really what I'm looking for in this disc. Next is the DGA Titanic. This thing is really floaty, probably similar to a magnet from Discraft, if you ever thrown that. But very floaty, really nice in the hand for like longer spin putts or just really close touch shots from like anything inside 200 feet. The next two is the Discraft Zone. I throw an ESP one for kind of straighter zone shots, and then I throw this Foreclaw for forehand, something a little more stable. We'll move on to the mid ranges. I have 4 mids in the bag right now. I have this First Flight PL Rift. Shout out to my boy Frankie for hooking me up with this one. This is super nice and a little understable, so I can put this thing pretty flat and it's just going to ride right the entire flight. So very controllable, feels really good in the hand. Next is the PL Aftershock. I'm really loving this. It's a little bit slower than a Buzz, but still goes just as straight. Has a little bit of finish too. I don't really have to worry about this thing turning over too much. So yeah, super good. I can really lean into it. It'll go pretty straight for, you know, upwards of 320 to 370. Next is the Ice Squall. I like the ice plastic. It's a little bit more overstable than most, but this is a 6-speed, so it flies a little bit further than your mid-range, but not as far as your fairway. So, you know, anywhere from like 380 to 410, I'm going to be throwing this disc for sure, and more for long straight shots as well. The last mid-range in the bag is this sweet dive from my boy Frankie again with this SP Quake. Loving this for really overstable mid-range shots. If you knew what I was throwing last year was the Badger, this is a great replacement for that disc. Very overstable, very reliable. Next is the Fairway drivers. If you know me, I like Fairway drivers. I got 7 fairways in the bag. We'll start off with the most understable. I have a Katrina Allen Vortex that I'm really loving to throw for rollers. I primarily only throw it for rollers unless I need some crazy kind of scramble understable shot. But this is my very flippy disc in the bag. Again, super good for rollers. Next, I have 2 pipelines in the bag. I have a PL and a SP. The PL is very understable again. Definitely not as flippy as the Vortex, but if I need something to just throw straight and let it ride right the entire flight, I'm definitely gonna be reaching for this pipeline. Next, this SP pipeline is a little bit more for hyzer flip, staying straight. It'll still give me that little bit of ride turn to the right, but again, really liking the pipeline for just throwing straight and a little bit to right turn. This one will be a little bit more stable than the white one. The next one is the Bonsai, the PL Bonsai. This is super straight. I was throwing the Patriots last year. So this is probably the best replacement for that disc. Is something I can really lean into. It's not going to turn over too much, but it's really just going to hold that straight line. You know, playing here in the Oregon woods, it's really good to be able to throw long and straight. So discs like the Bonsai and 8-speed, that's very controllable, and that's going to hold that straight line. Definitely going to find a lot of use out of this disc this year. Next is the Tsunami, the Andrew Marweed Ledgestone. It's kind of like a Z Tsunami. This is very overstable, similar to like an Onyx or Predator mold. So I'm going to be using this for a little bit more understable, or sorry, a little slower like Hypercane or, you know, Hurricane type shots, somewhere around 400 to just over 400 for hyzers or flex shots. Next is the SP Hellfire. This is a very overstable disc, very similar to the Discraft Machete. I can really lean into this on forehands and backhands. Anything I need to shape an overstable flex line, or just, you know, really fighting the wind, reaching for the Hellfire. The last fairway is a Discraft Raptor. So for anything that I'm not be reaching for the Hellfire, I'll be throwing this one for flicks a little bit slower than the Hellfire, and if I'm throwing backhand for these overstable fairway shots, I'm gonna be using the Tsunami. But this one I usually only throw forehands with for something a little bit slower than the Hellfire. All right, into the distance drivers. Distance drivers, I have 4 Hurricanes and 1 Hypercane. For Hurricanes, I have this Shasta Chris Tour Series. But this is super comfortable, really good. It holds a true flight. This is definitely my flippier Hurricane. So for long turning shots in the sky and just hyzer flips to turnovers, I'm gonna be reaching for this Hurricane. Next is the Tour Series Andrew Marweed Hurricane. This is a little bit flatter than the other one, and it holds a really nice straight line, so I really only throw this one forehands. The other ones I'll throw backhands, but I like having some flatter discs in the bag to rely on the forehands a little bit better. It just feels better for forehands to have a flatter disc, and so that's what I'll be reaching this Marweed Hurricane for. Next is this orange Hurricane. It's got a little dome to it, which I really like. This is my furthest flying Hurricane, something I can put on a tiny bit of hyzer. It's gonna flip up, it's gonna ride to the right and then come right back. So those max distance shots where I need a lot of control but also need to put it far down the fairway, definitely gonna be reaching for this PL Hurricane. Yep. Next is the DGA SP Flex Hurricane. This is my most stable Hurricane. I'll be using this for long booming hyzers, or, you know, maybe just some long flex shots as well. I really like throwing flex shots, so I'll definitely be reaching for this one for a more overstable flight in a Hurricane. My last disc is my Hog, my Wind Fighter, my Hypercane. It's kind of a misprint. This is a PL Hypercane. It's pretty flat, but I'm really loving this for forehands and backhands, anything that's gonna fight the wind or just get left when I need it to. So yeah, that's what the DGA bag's looking like right now. Definitely there's a lot of other molds out there that I'm looking to try, get more comfortable with, but for right now, just kind of looking to what I'm throwing. I'm really liking the plastic. I guess DGA mostly, I've been feeling a lot of stiffer plastics than I've thrown in the past, which I really like for the way that I throw. It feels very comfortable in the hand, so a lot of these discs working really well for me. I'm excited to see what I can keep doing with them. So yeah, thank you guys for watching. Looking forward to throwing some good plastic out there and, you know, representing DGA. So thanks guys.